Welcome, everyone. I'm Sue Barber, author, former IT director for a Fortune 500 company, turned executive coach, and this is the Visibility Factor podcast, where we explore how to raise your visibility and play bigger at work and in life. We'll explore key topics and welcome guests that help you shift your thinking about yourself so you can see new possibilities for your leadership. I'm on a mission to create a visibility movement for leaders to show their value and be seen for their true talent. Are you ready to take the next step towards a higher level of visibility for yourself? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. Today's episode is about key skills for leaders. I wanted to explore this because I think it's one of the main things that helps people to achieve success. Now, I teach a class called Leadership Foundations, where I cover these key skills, and it's always interesting to have a conversation about them because some people might automatically be good at some of these already. And sometimes others need practice or they need to explore or build those skills if they don't have them already. But every experience that you have helps you gain confidence and helps you build those skills in a bigger way. So sometimes people will say, well, I don't want to do anything special. I just want to already have this. Well, of course, it'd be great if we all already had them. But I know some of the most challenging experiences and mistakes that I made helped me to build those skills in a better way. And now I don't worry about those things because I know I can handle whatever comes my way. So I want you to feel that way too. I want you to have the confidence. But let's go back and start with a definition because you know that's my favorite place to start. And it's always interesting, especially when I'm talking to newer leaders, to help them understand the difference between leadership and management. So managers are the people who are planning and monitoring and measuring work. I think of those people as the day-to-day operational focused people who make sure everything gets done. But leaders are the people who are leading people and getting things done through people. Now, that's not to say that managers aren't motivating and inspiring and doing some things too, like leaders do, but leaders are accountable for an overall organization or projects or programs that they're leading, and getting things done through others is really an important part of that, holding them accountable to make sure that everything gets done with high quality, et cetera. I think sometimes people just don't always think about the difference and they kind of mix them up. So I always like to start there with a really foundational definition just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I love these quotes by some people that you may or may not have heard of before because I think they help you start to understand how others might see leadership. And there's thousands and thousands of, probably millions of quotes out there. But these three I really like to use. Warren Bennis's quote is, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. One of the key things that leaders do is really help to set a vision, which you're going to hear more about in a few minutes. So it's an important piece of being a leader. Bill Gates, who you all are very familiar with, I'm sure. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. Empowering other people to get things done allows you to scale and to move faster and to help them grow and develop at the same time. And the last one is by John Maxwell, who is a leadership expert, says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And when I'm asked on podcasts or guest appearances about what I think leadership is, I generally use John Maxwell's definition because I do believe that it is true. If you cannot influence others and motivate and inspire them, you're not going to get the same results. And so that is one that I truly, really feel like is the best definition. It's simple, it's easy to remember. And a lot of people are always trying to figure out, how do I explain what leadership is? Well, this is a way to do it. So my key skills that I use in my program are develop a broad enterprise-wide view of the organization. You have to understand how the organization works, how things are set up, how to get things done and accomplish things through your team. You have to leverage those different conversations to move things forward. The agility to quickly adjust priorities as the organization needs change. Every day, there's some kind of new change that's happening, and being able to handle those changes is something that leaders are expected to be able to navigate. Foster learning and innovation. Have a fail-forward culture. I think that is one of the most important things to do because people need to know that it's safe to make mistakes and it allows you to have more innovation, leverage more creativity, be able to try things and take risks where you maybe haven't been able to do that before. But that only works if the leader is okay with having failure happen. And a lot of leaders are not. So if you are in a situation where you think you could be doing more creative things and trying new things, create a fail-forward culture and see how much faster you can move. Be able to shape strategy and communicate it to everyone they manage and work with. You do need to be strategic as a leader. It's thinking about the future and where things are going and being prepared for that, putting a plan together, setting a vision around what you want to do over the next 1 to 3 years is important because that way your team and the rest of the organization can be aligned with you. Understand and work in a complex web of relationships. Anyone who's ever worked in a matrix organization where there's multiple functions and groups working together and trying to accomplish the same goals, you've seen how complicated that can be. Communication can be challenging. It can be hard to understand the priorities of each group and how they're all fitting together. But the more you can understand how to keep that as simple as possible, but be as connected to those people as you can, it allows you to leverage kind of what I call the informal network of communication that helps you understand what's going on and be able to make decisions. Have resilience and adaptability, including being able to find opportunity in disruption. A lot of people might be scared of disruption, seeing it as too much change, but sometimes disruption is necessary to move the organization forward and to try things that haven't been tried before. And don't be afraid of that. See it as a good thing. See it as an opportunity to move through the ambiguity and try something new. You might just find that it's actually better. It might help you move the team forward and allow programs and processes to be improved and really execute something that's even better than you originally thought. Be able to consider business needs and make the hard decisions. I always felt like I had some advantage in some ways coming from the business side and going into IT and supply chain and other things. It helped me really understand how decisions were made and gave me perspective that maybe others didn't have. And I tried to share as much of that with my team as possible, because sometimes if you've only been in one function, you only know that one function. And so having a diverse experience level within a company or from multiple companies allows you to start to see different ways of looking at problems and how to solve them and have different conversations. And the last one is identify development opportunities within and beyond teams. Coach, not tell. There are tons of opportunities for people maybe within your organization, maybe within your own group, but don't leave out that they might be successful in other parts of the organization. They might want to do different things, and having that conversation from a coaching standpoint can be really helpful. Maybe someone has a strength that you can see that would be really great for finance or for marketing or for supply chain if they're an IT person. You can start to say, hey, have you explored other ideas that you might be interested in, and how can I help you get there? That's what happened to me, and I was really, really blessed to be able to do that. And I always want people to be at least open to the conversation. You never know where it might go, and it can help you really be a leader who's seen as developing their people. I also found an article on the guiding principles of leadership, and it's called Guiding Principles More Business Leaders Should Live By. And I thought it was a really fascinating list of guiding principles to choose from. I have only chosen some that I really, really align with, but I thought it might be helpful to go through some of those too. These are things that have definitely made a difference for me, my team, and I have seen really big transformation for my clients by thinking about these and planning for them. So we talked a little bit about vision earlier. If you don't have a strong aligned vision, it can create chaos. It just does. No one knows what to focus on. Decisions can't be made easily. And when you have a clear vision, it allows everybody to move in the same direction. So if you find that there's some chaos happening where people don't really know what to do, what the priorities are, step back and say, do I have a clear vision in place? Embrace a customer-centric mindset. You know, you've probably heard customer first or the customer's always right. That's something that's tossed about a lot. We always had a strong focus on our customers and what they needed and how to service them in the best way. But we also thought about impacts that our decisions as a company might have on them. And so it's a good thing to always be thinking about the customers that you have, and are they going to be successful with whatever it is you might do? And how can you support them in their endeavors as well? Clear communication, this one's crucial. Similar to the vision, if you don't have clear communication, it can also cause a lot of challenges and chaos for people because everyone has their own interpretation of what it is you've said or what you mean. We used to have a little cartoon that would say, we could all be in the same meeting and have 10 different interpretations of what was said. And that is so true. I've seen it happen time and time again. And so keeping things short and sweet and simple is probably the best way to do it, allowing questions to be asked, allow for clarification of what you mean, and check in along the way to see if what you've shared is working. Do they understand it? Do they know what to do? Or do you need to come back in and say something else to clarify? The next one is listen intentionally. This one is really important, especially today's world with all the distractions. We have our phones, we have all these things happening. So if you're in a one-on-one with somebody, put your phone down and really focus on what they're saying. Listen to what people are sharing with you in a meeting as well. You might find out some information that you didn't know. They might be trying to tell you without using the words, I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I'm not sure what my priorities are. And nobody wants to admit, right, that they might be struggling. It might be hard for them to ask for help. So you can be like a little detective in there and catching some of the things that they're saying and then talking to them afterwards and saying, I heard you mention this in the meeting. I was just wondering, is it something that I can do to help? Do you need some more conversations? Do you need some help with what you're working on? What can we do to help you move forward? Just asking that can be a really big help to people, and it allows you to keep your team and moving in the right direction, right? You don't want to have anyone who's struggling. Set transparency as a foundation. One of my favorites. Transparency, I cannot say how important that is because it's what helps to build trust with you and your team. It allows people to hear the communication from you directly and not hear it through the grapevine. You can let people know what's happening, especially during times of change. Transparency is crucial in helping them understand what's going on and that you'll share information as soon as you can with them. So think about, are you being as transparent as you can be? Building trust, as we just mentioned a little bit in the previous one, ensuring words and actions match. So if you say that you're going to do something, do you actually do it? It's important for them to see that those two things align and match for them to trust you. They also need to see that you're genuine and authentic, and what you share is important in terms of showing that to people. So take the time to really have those conversations and make sure that you're backing that up and just doing the best thing that you can for the team. Foster a culture of continuous learning and development. Support your team members to learn and grow as much as you can. Your team members are assets to the company, and keeping them engaged and empowered and aligned with where things are going allows them to grow in their leadership, which ultimately helps you as a leader to get things done. Care for the team. If you have team members who are struggling or they're not learning what you need them to learn, or you're trying to help them move forward faster, or maybe they're sick. There's all kinds of things that could be happening in a team at any one point. And you need to focus on what people are going through and see if there's ways that you can help them. Try to understand where it's coming from. It might be coming from a past experience that they had and they struggled at that time, and now they're struggling again. But if they're sick or someone in their family is sick, you have to be a human. You have to be a human who helps and supports them with whatever it is they need, and give them that time off if they need it, because they will never forget you for that. That is something that not everybody does. And just being a human in that moment goes a long way for you to help the team see that you can do that for them, but also for this person and their family. Be open to taking risks. I know some people are very afraid of them. They seem like that's just not a stable or a certain thing to do, of course, and so they will avoid them. But I have taken risks along the way, and many of those have paid off. Now, I didn't do them recklessly. I did them with intention. I thought about what's a contingency plan if I need it. I thought about how to calculate success or failure and what could I do to mitigate that failure if I thought it might happen. the more you can look at and use your experience and also any data points that you have that will help you make that decision allows you to take risks that could pay off in a big way for you. And the last one is embracing vulnerable leadership. Another one of my favorites, and I really believe that this could be a leader's superpower. If you can be vulnerable with people, they can see that you're a human, that you care about them, that you care about their success, and that you aren't perfect. You don't have all the answers. You don't know everything, and that you need the team to help and support you. And that's what makes a great team, is bringing all of these people's experiences and talents and skills together to really create success for you and the organization. So now let's go into the visibility action plan. I would love for you to think about the key skills that I went through as well as the guiding principles. Can you see where any of those might be opportunities for you to strengthen them or start using them if you're not, that really could build on your visibility for you? It could help you be seen in a different way. It could help in your confidence level. It could help people start to see a new side of you that you haven't shown before. Ultimately, though, it could really help your team. And that is something that you're also looked at for, right? Are you a leader who's helping to move your team forward and influence and manage up and help your team grow? So are there things that you need to do for your team that one of these skills or guiding principles could help you with? Start to use one of those this week and maybe start incorporating more of those in the following weeks and months and see what a change it makes for you. How do you feel? Are you more confident? Are you starting to show a different side of you that people are starting to see? That's what makes you stand out from other people. Thanks so much for joining today on the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Visibility Factor podcast. Remember that visibility starts with small steps that are intentional and consistent each day. Be bold, be visible, be the leader you were meant to be. Find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, which are highlighted in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Visibility Factor podcast.